Hello and welcome back to the CCL. This is Stage 2, Week 1. I am Rome DMV, joined alongside Mick. We said goodbye to Seymour, but I'm back again for this third match of the night. Mick, how you doing, man?
I'm feeling great, man, especially also getting the momentum going. We talk about it so much in the CCLs, and it applies to the Casters desk as well. I'm sitting there excited to go ahead and get into the second series and figure out what exactly we got dishing out tonight.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a good one for sure. And our next matchup, it's going to be a fun one. I say that because, these squads, there's a lot of similarities if we look at them. We're going to have Grand Valley State going up against Northeastern University. And Mick, you talked about this Grand Valley State squad. Let's go ahead and look at these teams head-to-head as we look at their overall records in each respective mode.
Yeah, and sure, I'm going to hype them up because I've casted them before, and I'm going to say they're a batch of smart cookies. That's going to be my biggest kind of selling point here for at least this squad, but still we can't really have a bias out here today. So the head-to-head, already GVSU having a season record of 6-5, NEU having 5-5 thus far, but we sit there and see where the differential comes down. Hard points, search and destroy, and control, all going to the likes of GVSU. Meanwhile, NEU going ahead and keeping a little bit of a differential on the opposite end of the spectrum, with their hard point sitting at 6-9. And I already know what you got to say about that. I'm just going to say it's a negative, and it's not looking good against the likes of an 8-7, where GVSU seem to have not only a little bit more experience, but also a little more experience just winning as well.
Yeah, precisely. Looking at this one, 15 hard points played each and, just a couple of win difference in this one. So, it is going to be a close match. We get to see, honestly, this Grand Valley squad, a lot of people feel like they had a little bit tougher of a battle to get here. So, right now, I would say Grand Valley are currently the favorites. Let's go ahead and look at the home roster in Grand Valley State right now, as it is going to be Purge, Infamous, Joke, and Brooks going to be coming out in the blue. And honestly, this squad, you said it, they're a batch of smart cookies, and they're ready to prove it yet again here in Stage 2.
And even then, the two players I'm going to keep my eyes on, at least for the course of this series alone, is going to be the likes of Purge and Infamous. Those two players are the ones I sat there and saw go off when it came right to that first split. And even then, that was in their own division. So, you got to consider the divisions. Talk about the regions that these players are dealing with. And sure, both these squads have had themselves a fairly, I would say, pretty rocky division to be dealing with. So, honestly, for them to go ahead and make themselves in the second split, sure, they're in the bottom spectrum of it, but still to go ahead and make that cut nonetheless, it shows that they're here for a reason. And this is where they really get to step things up, saying, look, we can now go ahead and have ourselves some tighter matches, have some better VOD reviews, go ahead and really flex our muscles. And we're talking about flexing. We got to see NEU's roster right quick, see what we're dealing with on the opposing side for the away team, and see who exactly is going to be opposing this GVSU squad.
Yeah, precisely. They are going to be having the likes of Bravo, Chase, Asuna, and Jay Rich. This squad right here, they're going to be looking to pull off a little bit of an upset. A little bit of a surprise here if they would be able to take out this Grand Valley State squad. Because, as you stated, they have the slight advantages over this Northeastern roster in just smallest of proportions in each mode. So, coming into this one, this Northeastern squad, they're really going to be looking to put it to them and come out early in this first map. That is going to be Bocage Hardpoint. So I believe that we do have our maps ready as well. If we can go ahead and look at the maps for this series, here we go. And as I stated, we're starting out hot and heavy. We're going to the cage, and it looks like we're going to end on the cage too.
That is if we ever get around there, but at least in the meantime, we know that we have different maps for every single pick up until that last one. So, so much diversity across the board. We're going to see every single kind of lineup just flex as much as possible, and that's what I'm looking forward to see. See a little bit of highlights here for the SMG players on Bocage. See some assault rifle plays, and a little bit more of a blend here with the SMGs also on Berlin, where you have lineups for both, and then Tuscan, where you sit there and once again have those SMGs go off. But if we do sit there and we have some absolutely outstanding assault rifle players on the losing side, I know they're going to want to fight for GVSU, because that is a map where you can see your assault rifles go off. So many open angles, so wide open spaces to be dealing with, and dishing out that damage, that they're going to sit there and say, this is going to be our time to shine. We can find ourselves to set up for a map 5. But that's a lot of theoreticals to throw up in the air, and that's a lot to ask for right off the get-go, knowing that we haven't even really settled things down. So hard point, where everything's going to start here on Bocage, that's a very, very aggressive start, a very quick start here, and it's really going to go ahead and set a tone for the rest of the series, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. Like if Grand Valley are able to come out and win this one in decisive fashion, I mean, that's going to let this Northeastern roster know that, you just can't hang with them straight up. I mean, right now they're going to be looking, I believe that they are in the tier 2 section. I believe these squads are, might be wrong on that, but I believe they are both in the tier 2 section. So, I mean, right here, they're middle of the pack. You see the record 6-5, 5-5. There's a reason that they are here and that they are going to be going up against each other. So I'm expecting this to be a very, very good series. And I feel like we're going to at least be seeing that Gavutu hardpoint, and it would be lovely to see that Bokage in map 5.
It most definitely would. And even then, I mean, Bokage Search and Destroy, with how small it is, with how hectic it can get, it's really exciting to watch. But we got to go ahead and start once again with Bokage on the hard point. And even then, that's going to be a huge opener to see those SMGs start flexing. Go ahead, get those muscles warm. Go ahead and get those sticks hot. Figure out what kind of potential they can bring to the board. And I mean, that's all it really dwindles down to. Hardpoint all comes down to execution, rotations, getting those cutoffs, setting up those speed bumps for the opposing side to make sure that even if they do get those early rotations, you're going to cut them off. And it's not going to be an option for them to really follow up and get that, the first hand, or at least the first half of points, and really go ahead and set up for this defense. So, I mean, the return is going to be, whether or not we can see some adjustments, because Bokage is so tightly compressed that, I mean, there's not really too much leeway here. You were that much more limited for space to be working with. Your canvas isn't nearly as large as the likes of Berlin, so it requires a lot more just adjustment right off the fly.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, right here, we're going to see exactly how these teams are going to adjust. I mean, a lot of times through this first rotation of hills, if you will, the first 5 hills, honestly, I feel like a lot of times teams end up being tied. And then in the second half, we see a team learn from their mistakes in the first set of rotations and start to really carry away with the map. So we'll see if that's going to be telling the same tale here as we're getting ready to load in. Man, it is going to be fun. I love starting series off with this map. It's literally the ultimate test as to how well you play as a team, because we all know you might be tied in kills, but that score line might look completely different simply because your team plays the hill correctly. They understand when to take advantage, when to get points, when to contest, and how to play the game correctly. I mean, honestly, this is a great way to start off any series.
It most definitely is, and that's a huge point to be made. I mean, I sit there and talk about it all the time. With all these people being inside the college scene and being in a 4-year university, you'd expect them to have at least some foreign language credit. So I want to sit there and see them translate those kills at a time. I want to sit there and see whether or not they can manage some time onto the board and really show that they can go ahead and excel on both sides of the field, whether it comes around to objective and the slaying department. And you can already see with the first blood coming out from Purge there, you know that things are going to get really, really hectic here on P1 right in the middle of the map.
Exactly. It's going to be Brooks coming in. He's able to get a lot of time as well. I mean, honestly, any time that you're able to get more than 15 seconds on this first point, that's a win. I don't care if the other squad's able to get 10, 12 as well. If you can get around 15, that's a W on this P1. It is a straight-up contest fest, and it is going to be a lot of kills, a lot of trades going to be coming out. As you can see, nobody's going to be wanting to step onto that hill because it is a death wish. The second that turns one color, it's going to be a whole lot of guns pointing directly that way.
Yeah, you could already see GVSU going ahead and saying, look, we got ourselves the advantage. It's 11 points. It's not the biggest differential in the world. It's 9 right off the get-go. But still, for Hill 1 and knowing how close Hill 2 is, we need to make sure to go ahead and just get that lead. To say we need to put the pressure onto NU. We need them to go ahead and push up, play off of this, and sit there and force them into a scenario where they got to fight for the site. So go ahead, set up for spawns. Brooks is going to be in the back, and he's going to be waiting for you. And you got the rest of the team already set up for these crosses. Now, 3 players down for the likes of NEU. You got the rest of the players pushing on the site. Now, 47 seconds left on the clock, at least for this P2, and GVSU already looking to go ahead and just keep on holding it down as Joke holding down this barnyard.
Yeah, they're trying to press on in. The Joke is going to be playing his life nicely, as J-Rich able to pick up one down low, trying to turn and burn Joke up top, but no, it's going to be Joke staying alive yet again. He's on a 4 spree, ladies and gentlemen. Can he build this one as he's currently 7-2? Purge is 7-2 by his lonesome now on the streak, as that one did get shut down on the side of Joke. But either way, a nice 25-point advantage going to be coming out for GVSU. And I mean, a lot of good points on this P2. And it looks like they're going to be getting the scrap time as well.
And even though we see Joke fall and not really get that streak out to come into full fruition, I mean, you're not really concerned about that. He was just buying time for his teammates. I mean, during that entirety, around that barn house, you were going ahead, you were finding frags, you were saying, NEU, you have to take care of me before you even push onto that side, because I will come up and I will kill you from behind. So that goes ahead and sets a new tone for the game, saying, look, there's now another obstacle in our way. You can already see Joke once again doing that same exact thing, but at the same time now looking to accumulate a little bit of time to back up his team as well. Now sitting at 9-3. The guy's looking for kills. He's going to find one, not find the second, as he can't really clear out that site, but thankfully Purge is there to back him up, now creating that lead to be 55 points now. So as they go ahead and accumulate themselves themselves to get closer to 60 as they do hit that 70-point threshold. They now have an entire site worth of leeway.
Yeah, these players from NU are trying to come into Grandma's house, but looks like that is going to keep on getting traded out. Finally, last person alive is going to be Joke on the point. And I mean, Iche's coming through, starting to get this time and converted their way, but I mean, too little, too late. Honestly, this GVSU squad, they've done a great job overall of getting a bunch of time. Now they've got rotations to next. They've got the barn locked down. This one's going to be pretty hard to break.
Exactly. They're already setting up for it. They're saying, look, take that scratch time. Do what you please with it. We don't care. You're going to go ahead. You're going to find some time here and there, and that's okay because this is hardpoint. You're not going to go ahead and get locked in at 0. You can at least manage 1 second. So, I mean, already the setup coming in for GVSU already almost instantaneously broke, but Brooks has something to say about it. Already getting back onto that site, making an exchange, but Austin there on the edge to go ahead and grab a kill as well. So a lot going down here, right here on this P4, and you definitely want to see all the bloodbath coming out because knowing how contested this is, knowing how small the site is, it's almost like P1, but it's indoors, making it that much harder to really break as you can already see Joke struggling as well.
Yeah, and it's going to be a little bit over a 50-point advantage as it is going to be coming in for GVSU, as this one is heavily contested right now. Purge is trying to lock down the bottom floor with Brooks. A couple of players are going to get taken out. Brooks still going to be playing his life extremely well. 10-8 currently down low in this barn. And, I mean, this squad GVSU are doing a great job, but the spawns are going to be coming in on the backside. NU going to be getting the scrap time, but look who's already got control of next. It's going to be GVSU. They're locking it down.
And even then, I love what GVSU was going for right there. Just holding out that site, saying, we don't care if we grab time, we don't care if we contest it. We are locking them back on the other side of the map. We are locking their spawns down towards P2, and that's a pretty hefty way to run, at least in the, the gauge of Bacage, which is pretty small comparative to other maps. So long as you know that they're spawning towards P2, you got P5 under control, you know you are a hop and a skip away in comparison to them. So you go ahead, accumulate some more time, you get yourself a 70-point lead once again, kind of go ahead and looking to ramp it up a little bit more, but with now 28 seconds left on the clock, it all comes down to who wins this engagement and whether or not you decide to go ahead and rotate off of that or whether or not you really want to fight for it again. And Brooks making a decision to want to fight for it. He can find at least 1 kill, but knowing that Austin and everybody else is on site, there's Purge with the backup. There's 15 more seconds on the clock for him. I think NEU needs to go ahead and start looking at a rotation possibly, but instead, Rich coming onto the flank, not able to manage anything, and the last of that comes to the side of GVSU is now 132 to the likes of 46.
Yeah, 90-point advantage. They're starting to run away with this one, and, I mean, you can feel the steam starting to build on the side of GVSU for sure. I mean, I don't think they've even got any streaks yet acquired on their side, but, I mean, it's going to be close. A lot of them have gotten 4 or 5, but I don't think any of them have hit that 6 mark just quite yet. But I mean, either way, it's a dominant performance right now coming out as they're even getting a lot of time on this P1. We know how difficult that can be. Iche's trying to shut them down, but that's going to be shut down as the kill feed going to be heading blue currently. Is, I mean, yet again, this squad and GVSU are just doing everything possible to not let this squad in NU get back in this one.
And look at the adaptations from GVSU, just going ahead and saying, look, assault rifles are not going to do anything here. They went ahead and set a tone. We saw a couple automatons there off the get-go, right off the rip, out of these teams to say, look, let's go ahead and get a feel for what's going on. When GVSU knows they're winning those fights, they're saying, let's all run SMGs. Let's all go ahead. Bocage is extremely small. They're not setting up for these roof plays. They're not setting up towards the outside of the map, a little bit too far away from spawn. They're wanting to get aggressive. They're wanting to get in our face, and we are typically winning those fights. So let's just go ahead and plan it out ideology. Let's go ahead and push it in their face. Let's pull that trigger. No, we got an MP40 in hand. Well, let's go ahead and even out the odds. You can already see Brooks finding 2 kills here. Going ahead and set the tone once again for the rest of his team, saying, look, things are going to get easier and easier and easier as we find ourselves more kills. And everybody on their squad is just absolutely slaying out. And you can just see NEU trying to just catch up.
Yeah, and it's looking like Infamous is going to be the lone player on this point right now. Still 30 seconds going to be remaining on it. Brooks going to be there with him, trying to back him up. Here we go. Here's the contest. Chase is going to be able to get one. Still going to be contested for now, but looks like it is going to be NU that are going to be able to clean it up. So, I mean, solid stuff coming out of them, but nobody's picking up that scrap time. You see player 3 rotating over. He said, you know what, 15 seconds, I'll take it. Thank you very much, as they are also going to be controlling bottom grandmas for next. For now, I mean, right here, GVSU, this was a perfect exchange right here.
It most definitely was. You could already see everything just really trying to go ahead and buy its dividends. And Infamous running down the double get up, spawning with that assault rifle, switching over to MP40, having that as a secondary off a player that they killed, saying, look, there is a massive window here. If I die or I go around to the back, I have a window for a lineup. I can just snipe right through that. Or if my teammates really need me, I mean, it doesn't seem like they do. Purge is going to go ahead and clear out the entirety of the site, looking to go ahead and double down and find Austin, but he just can't really go ahead and bring that to life. But Joke now on the return with 37 seconds left on this clock, at least for this point alone. You need to sit there and capitalize. You need to go ahead and hit that 200-point mark. You need to put the pressure onto NEU where they just can't really play for an answer. They're just fighting for relevancy rather than the actual map.
Yeah, and who's relevant on the map? It's going to be Purge, 33-17. You got Joke as well, 31-16. Both of them are putting on an absolute show, a clinic. This one, I mean, they've clearly wearing their doctor outfits right now. I mean, this one is looking pretty bad on the side of NU, currently down by 120. It's going to be Bottom Grandma's locked down by them again. NU do have the rotations to next, but let's see how long that's going to be lasting, because we know the break coming in from GVSU. It's been hot and heavy, and they've been able to do it many times, but this is not going to be the one as NU shut down the push.
And even with 54 seconds left, at least on this point, that's not going to be nearly enough for them to get back into this game to go ahead. They can find 100. They can go ahead and make sure to go ahead and say, we're not going to be in the 100-point club. But, I mean, is that really the title you're fighting for right now? You need to have a bigger goal in mind. You need to look and go ahead and create an insane comeback to really bring yourself some life into this game, known for the series. Because if you get shut down right here and you go ahead and say, look, hardpoint wasn't it, search and destroy, we're just going to get mowed down, that's not a good mentality to carry over for the rest of this series. So you can already see the contestants trying to come through. A little bit of time brought to the clock for NEU, but not enough to really create that much of a difference. 22 seconds left on the clock. GVSU can't close it out here, but they're definitely going to go ahead and set up the pressure to say, look, you have to play absolutely perfect hardpoint pass this time. And honestly, with the way that NEU's been playing, I don't know if it's possible, but miracles are always possible.
Yeah, right here, right now, I have one question left for this map, and I'm going to ask my color caster this. 100-point club or not?
Oh, that's honestly, let's look at these spawns right quick. We can already see NEU set up for this site, so I think they can hold at least 5 seconds here. But I mean, with Joke already being on site, you get a look at the compression, and nobody's really there for the answer. So many guys on the outside that, I mean, if the rest of the team backs them up, it's probably going to be a 100-point club.
Okay, I like how you delayed it, that you let the play build a little bit before you answer. Fair enough right there. Not too bad, but I mean, honestly, that's what I'm excited about. Are they going to be able to keep them below 100? And right now, GVSU, they're locking it down. It's only going to be one player left. They're both going to be dropping, and that's going to be it, as this one is going to be a 100-point club situation. 250-94 going to be coming out. I mean, GVSU, you said it. I mean, you did say that they were going to be coming out strong, that you think that they're going to be having a decisive win. And I mean, that right there, I wasn't expecting a win that large.
Yeah, and even then, I mean, I didn't really expect Joke to be going off like that. I mentioned Infamous's name earlier, and he sat there and stood up, but I also, the one guy, I at least hit one of my 50-50s. Purge definitely woke up in this game. We sat there and had so much influence on Joke in the earlier stages of the round, but Purge just slipped under the radar and found so many kills, not only under just our radar as casters, but from the observer as well, and from everybody, unless you're just constantly watching that scoreboard. The guy stepped up, found 1:24 in terms of time on the clock and on that site, and found so many kills at it while he's sitting there contesting. With 31 non-traded and still playing so much time as well, he's going to be a menace. And that's what we mentioned earlier, is that this map alone is going to get those SMGs time to warm up. It's going to get these players hot. And when you started at 250-94 and you're moving on to search and destroy, we're not going to see a search and destroy. We're not going to see the game slow down. GVSU are feeling hot right now, and they want to take that fire like they're Ghost Rider.
I mean, big time. I mean, right now, they're definitely going to be feeling good after this one. It's just a straight-up dominant performance. I mean, you stated it, Purge. Clearly, by far, the MVP, in my opinion, of this map #1 right here. And, you know, heading into a Berlin search and destroy, I mean, you said it, the momentum probably not going to be stopping. On the offensive side, they're going to be feeling extremely good. They're going to be either hitting out A with a bunch of aggression, feeling like they can take out whatever hold you got prepared for them. And if they go B, they're going to say, you know what, we can get this down, hold it for our spawn. You're not going to be able to mess with us whatsoever. And, I mean, I like the confidence coming out of this squad to be able to have this such a strong like that's more than strong. Like if you 100-point club a team, this is stage 2, Mick. Like I'm sorry, you should not be 100-point clubbing anyone in stage 2.
Yeah, that's not strong. That's more swole, I would say. That's just kind of you're pumping iron at this point. So I mean, looking at the way that things are going to line up, you even sat there. I want to sit there and talk about the warm-ups, because we sat there and mentioned how the SMGs are really going to go ahead and start getting in their element. We didn't see any of you really wake up here. We didn't see them go ahead and come to life with those SMGs. We didn't see that on the scoreboard, which is a little bit concerning to know that even then, we saw GVSU making the adjustments, trying out the assault rifle here and there. We saw Infamous, who is an AR player primarily from what I've seen out of him, going ahead and trying to throw the automaton in there every now and then, finding a kill, going ahead and saying, look, we're going to Berlin next. I can't just sit there and play for an SMG an entire map. We can't run the 4 SMG setup once again on Berlin. That's not going to work. Let's go ahead and get this barrel heated up a little bit. Let's go ahead and get adjusted for this recoil pattern, see how we're feeling tonight on the auto rifle, and see if we can back it up on Berlin. When you go ahead and manage that kind of trade-off and still being extremely relevant and backing up your teammates, when Joke and Purge are sitting there taking so many kills and just everywhere on the map, you can still find about 20 plus kills, you're definitely feeling it. You're definitely having your own stride as well. So that's going to be a huge problem going into Search and Destroy, knowing that these long lineups are going to be detrimental.
Oh, precisely. And I mean, we get to see exactly what these squads are made of. I mean, I said it in the series prior. If your squad on offense, if you want to go A, your squad's about that life. You're ready for that action. You want that war. If you go B, you're playing the PB and J route, in my opinion, the bread and butter route, in my opinion, the easy route, in my opinion, the safe route, in my opinion, if you will. And I mean, honestly, there's nothing wrong with going over to B. I mean, honestly, in the last series that we did see, at least in the first series of the day where we were on Berlin Search and Destroy, I don't think that we saw one successful A push on offense. Not one the entire time. So, I mean, it was B or nothing. And the one time that we did see an A hit, it got deleted expeditiously. So, you know, I really want to see what these squads are going to be coming out with. I think the GVSU, they might be the squad, if anyone will be, that could be coming up and going into A feeling good. But other than that, I'm expecting a lot of the B bomb site to be utilized.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you. I mean, B is such a huge hit here. With it being so wide open, it allows such an easy post plant that already kind of goes ahead and spells itself out. You have that explosive barrel down there, so if you don't have a grenade, you still have some form of utility down there. A little bit of intel, a little bit of a hit marker give, that AoE clear to go ahead and let you know who may be in the vicinity. Problem is, when you're on the defending side, when you're looking to go ahead and get that defuse down, you're just hugging the inside. Thankfully, that's why you get your SMG players warmed up. You get them to close that door, you get them close quarters, you make sure that they can hide themselves in a very tiny little corner, and you say, all right, I see somebody run through the door. Start pulling that trigger. I don't care whether you hit them or not. If you get some hit markers, you let us know, and if you don't win that fight, we're going to have to push up on it. So you can already see, once again, you mentioned the B side earlier. Well, that's going to be the first one hit.
Precisely, and I mean, you said it. Want to get hot early on, but not too hot in this position for J Rich, because there are some barrels around him. Is this bomb going to go down? I believe it is. And Purge is going to kill him out the window, and now it's a 4v2 situation. I mean, GVSU, they're set up perfectly.
Those definitely are. I mean, already, B site just already spelling itself a post plant, making it so easy. I mean, the setup coming around, you can see Purge playing for that flank route, trying to go ahead and stay inside the houses, play for these close quarter scenarios. So when he finally goes ahead and gets the call and says, look, he's rubble. I saw him earlier. He's pushing out. He's probably going to come to you. If you find the kill, he's all yours. But you missed those shots. I'm here for the follow-up. I'm here for the finale, at least for this round, and we can go ahead and make sure to get ourselves to a round 2. So an aggressive start here from the likes of GVSU, a great start just overall to go ahead and set the tone. Problem is on defense, where you don't go ahead and really say where the initiative goes to, where you don't choose where the fight is taking place. It all comes down to how NU really wants to make that exchange, whether they want to hit a B again or whether or not they want to throw a curveball out there and say, let's go ahead and throw A into the mix to see exactly how GVSU can adjust. And that looks to be the game plan here.
Yeah, and I mean, a very bold move going to be coming out of Asuna. He is going to be able to call out a couple players.
Oh.
Don't believe that hit either, but Brooks did pick up the first blood onto E-Chase over there, and I mean, that is going to be very detrimental for this squad and NU. Now, they are going to be getting the bomb down for their spawn. The Purge taking out Bravo. Brooks going to take out Asuna, and now the last player planted the bomb. So they are just going to converge, blow up all these barrels. They're going to keep on shooting and just absolutely throw everything they can at this player. Oh, man, poor him. And woof, GVSU swarming like flies on defense. You said you wanted to see how they act, and they're acting accordingly.
They most definitely are. I mean, already going ahead and shutting out NEU. 2 rounds in a row where you sit there and find flawless rounds. That is not something we see very often. We at least see 1 kill come out right here. I mean, at least 1 player finding some blood onto the board. And sure, we could probably see some damage if we look at the chart, but that's not going to matter. You can get damage all day. If you don't find those kills, that's not going to matter because that's in search and destroy. You're looking to go ahead and find those kills. You're looking to make your team's job that much easier. And that's exactly what Purge and Brooks are doing right now. A dynamic duo, both finding 3 respectively, just pushing up to these sites, finding those kills, and making the rest of their team's job, saying, look, I can kick out the lawn chair and I can just watch the bomb because that's all I need to do. You'll find the kills, and that's Infamous with the first in this one.
Yeah, I mean, right now, yet again, I mean, this squad in GVSU, they're finding the first bloods, which are massive. every single time. J Rich finally going to try to bring this one a little bit closer. 3v2 situation now. Can J Rich get another? No. Oh man, Purge. I mean, this squad right now, they are just doing everything perfectly. And now the bomb's going to be going down for their spawn yet again. Player number 2, even if the rest of this team dies, guess what? He can clutch it up because he's in the prime position. And I mean, I said it. Even if his teammates die, it's fine. He can clutch it up. He's in the perfect position to do so.
He most definitely is. I mean, already in a 1v2, this is kind of the best round that any of you could have themselves a chance. Problem is you have to get that defuse down as well, which is a really big problem knowing that GVSU is already set up for it. You got right there Joke playing aggressive. You got Brooks towards the back with that auto rifle, just looking to make a play, and there it is. Also with the play of his own, making the exchange, making the moves, and having that initiative. Thing is, can he read Joke? You saw his body for a second, and even then, I mean, that's just kind of the silhouette. You got to make sure to play. You got to check for this bomb, and that's what Joke's trying to do. But with so much time already, it's gone. It's not going to be enough. We're going to see GVSU take another round. Kill or no kill, doesn't matter. You still get the win here.
Yeah, precisely. Just a beautiful hold going to be coming out of GVSU. An almost impossible situation for Northeastern right there. And Asuna, I mean, he was able to get a couple, just not able to find the third in time. His Joke going to be clutching up. And I mean, this squad right here looking extremely, extremely good to kick things off. I mean, 2 successful B hits coming out already, GVSU, and they've already shut one down on the defensive side. Let's see what's going to be coming up next.
Just setting the entire tone here so far is going to be GVSU. I mean, just running away with this game with 3-0, already reaching halfway the rounds that they need to go ahead and close out this map. And, I mean, we sat there and mentioned the aggression earlier. We sat there and mentioned the momentum that could carry over. And when you sit there and have such a dominant first map, the 100-pointing club, the opposing side, you know that, okay, we can play aggressive. We can get in their face. Sometimes you get a little bit too aggressive. We're going to see Purge fall because of that overzealousness right there. But thankfully, he still has 3 teammates allowed to make an exchange if they can make sure to really capitalize on that.
It's going to be very hard to do so, though, because already this bomb is going to be over at that B site. Brooks is going to be dropping as well. So now a 2v4 situation. I mean, these players are close enough to potentially do something about it and get some kills. Nice lineup, but no. Joke not going to be able to get either one. And that's just unfortunate, honestly. Infamous is going to be in the very back. And, I mean, honestly, it's about time at this point. You know, the bomb's down. All 4 players are set up perfectly to watch this one. So it's pretty much about time at this point.
Most definitely is, and it's also time to go ahead and find yourself some kills because that's exactly what they're doing. GVSU is pushing on the side. They now even up the lives. It's a 2v2. The defense is going down, but Infamous just can't find it. Joke now with 10 seconds, trying to make the play, can find one. He's going to go ahead and play Ring Around the Rosie in this tank, but, I mean, to find the kill, you got to sacrifice something. No defuse will go down. That'll be an NEU round, but will be an NEU kill with the sniper and the quick scope to come out from Joke. This man is nothing but jokes right now, just absolutely clowning the competition. But regardless, now on the board is going to be NEU. So sure, you sit there, you grab yourself some kills, but you now sit there and need to go ahead and finish out what you've started.
Yeah, but I mean, still, Joke, he's going to be very happy right now walking away at the end of that round 4 on a 4 spree currently. Let's see if he can get those streaks in his back pocket. Would be definitely massive for him, as right now he is the only player on the map that has not died yet, even in the losing effort. Still has not died, so all around solid stuff going to be coming out of him, as Joke is going to be having the bomb heading over toward this B bomb site. It's going to be J Rich over here going to need to stop the push in a 1v2 situation. It's going to be Joke and Purge converging onto the site. But Purge is going to be able to take out J Rich, and that's great Ring Around the Rosie play. Bomb's going to start to go down for their spawn, and here we go.
And that's just really unfortunate there for the likes of old J Rich. Just knowing that that's a 50-50 when you breach into that site. You check right or you check left, and I mean, just right there, already checking the right angle, making sure to get those shots preemptively and make sure you win that gunfight. But it all comes down to the answer now for Austin and E-Chase, who are trying to go ahead and make sure to know they have to get this defuse down with 28 seconds remaining and 4 players still alive for the side of GVSU. This is a near impossible task as E-Chase already gets closed out.
Extremely unfortunate, and now it's just going to be Asuna left by his lonely. And I mean, honestly, this squad in GVSU, yet again, looking extremely solid. Like, it seems like every single time, literally, this squad is just flawless on the offensive side. They've let 1 defense go so far, but I mean, their offense now, 3 offenses that they've won. It's looking very, very crisp on that side.
And even then, their defense also looked extremely good as well. We just didn't see really the timeline up for them. They went for the defuse, they went for the kills as well, but I mean, just having the execution to go ahead and make it from a 2v4 down to a 2v2, then a 2v1 to also come out in terms of lives. That just speaks a lot of volume, knowing that they're winning these frag battles. Sure, the objective is going to be in the rear view every here and there, but when you have yourself a 4-1 lead, you can sit there and make those sacrifices. Joke is still on a 4 spree so far, and he's going to be looking for these streaks to really set the tone for one round and guarantee that match point to be just followed through and executed on.
Yeah, I mean, right now, it's going to be Brooks with the sniper in hand looking over that B site. I mean, honestly, this situation right here, if you look, they're completely spread out. Like, I just don't feel like Northeastern really have a play here. The only thing that's open right now is A, but they're going to be opting to head over toward B. And once that info comes in on the side of GVSU that they're over here at this B bomb site, I mean, it's going to be very, very hard for Northeastern. But E-Chase is able to get one outside near B. Now it's a big 1v1 inside the hill. Purge ends up taking out J-Rich, and that is massive for GVSU. And another kill for Joke going to be coming in, shooting E-Chase in the back. And now all that's going to be left is Asuna. 25 seconds remaining. I mean, GVSU locking it down on D.
And even then, if I was GVSU, just play it slow. I mean, obviously, Joke wants to go ahead and find that kill streak. He wants to find the flank, and he does go ahead and manage that out. But in the meantime, you know the bomb was right there on B. You know that that's where it was going to be planted because with the time already ticking down so much, you can't go for a rotation at this stage. Especially in a map like Berlin, you just don't have that leeway in time on the board to really be making those moves. So as it looks so far, as we get ourselves into a match point for GVSU, they are just really stomping in this round and this entire map, just to really back off what they've done. This is almost a comparison to the 100-point club in Search and Destroy. You hold them at 1. If you don't let them get anything else, it's darn near the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, really, honestly, it's just a dominant performance yet again. Oh, man, just unfortunate right now coming out of this Northeastern squad. I know they definitely had better hopes in mind for this start, but that nade is going to be blown up a lot. And not going to be able to take out either player, but Joke is going to pick him up regardless. J-Rich is going to trade that out, but Purge is going to be right on there to make it a 3v1 situation as Bravo left alive as this bomb is going to be going down. GVSU flawless on the offensive end, only dropped 1 on defense. They are going to be going up 2-0 in the series, heading to control.
And this, my friend, is where things become a problem if you are an NEU fan. I think you already sat there and saw it, and you were kind of feeling it a little bit when you sat there and saw that your team got put into the 100-point club. But when you look at that stat line for Search and Destroy, when you see Purge going 9-2, Brooks 7-2, Joke 6-1, Infamous 6-4, everybody having 5+ kills, and the highest death counter was 4. You sit there and look at NEU and see that none of them even broke 5. That is a problem in itself when you were doing margins, when you were doing so much better than the opposition. I mean, sure, the game changes up a little bit. You're bringing that aggression. You were putting that down on the field, and you're forcing NEU to sit there and fight when they just really can't. Control is going to be a very, very difficult time for them because think about how the attacking side usually doesn't go over very well for either team. I mean, just typically inside Control. When we see aggression like this on the defense, even on Search and Destroy, they are looking to push up. They are looking to close out this game. They are looking to diminish those lives as fast as possible.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, the fact that we're going to be moving on to Tuscan now, I mean, honestly, looking at this map, I feel like with these squads, GVSU just honestly have the upper hand. I mean, we talked about it. They 100-point clubbed them in the hard point. Now 6-1 in the Search and Destroy. They're not looking like they're going to be stopping anytime soon. I mean, the Gunnies are there. I mean, they made a player on this side of Northeastern end up dropping a donut last map. So, I mean, anytime this happens, you're just going to be coming in with the utmost confidence for sure. So, I mean, I'm definitely going to be looking for this squad to get hot and ready for this map number 3. It's going to be a good one.
And even then on Tuscan, I mean, I feel like this could be the map where you really go ahead and set yourself apart if you're the likes of NEU. This is kind of a little bit more of a diverse map. It's a little bit SMG heavy. It all comes down to the angles and the fights you decide to pick. And I think they're definitely capable of choosing those fights. But this is the thing where it all comes down to. I sat there and mentioned GVSU. I didn't expect such a dominant performance like this. I mean, you and I were making predictions on where the series would stand, and I was saying 3-1 max. Well, things aren't even looking like that now. It's looking like a 3-0 because I sat there and talked about how smart their players were, how well they make these adjustments across the map, and how well they go ahead and set up for crosses against each other. You could see that on their defensive end, and even on their attacking side of the post plant when it came around to Search and Destroy, and the way they went ahead and just set up complete speed bumps on a hard point on such a tiny map like Bokage. So, I mean, for Tuscan, where you have to choose your battles, where you have to set up that for the rest of your team to really make an execution onto a site, it's going to be a very, very difficult task, a very steep hill for NEU to climb.
Yeah, big time. And I mean, the thing that I'm really going to be focusing on is the kills in this one. I mean, a lot of times Tuscan, it can come down to those kills. I mean, Gavutu, a
Yeah.
lot of times, not so much. You know, sometimes that one straight up, a lot of times teams just cannot get control of any point, and that time just dwindles very, very quickly. But I mean, on Tuscan, a lot of times those kills matter so much. And the fact that GVSU were outslaying Northeastern by that much of a margin, I really think they're going to be they're really just going to be having every bit of. I don't even know. They're going to have like a 90% chance of winning this, in my opinion, just based off how this series has went so far, based off how the kill feeds have went so in favor of GVSU. Control is literally all about that.
I think, honestly, that we're going to see GVSU not even play for the sites when it comes around to be on the attacking side. I think they're going to push right through the middle of the map, push for these spawns, and just try to lock them up. Maybe have one player allocated towards that site and give them that responsibility, and so you slowly dwindle time up or go ahead and accumulate that as kind of a backup plan. But I think their main task is just going to be to not let NEU play, and I think they're definitely capable of doing something like that. So if you're NEU, you need to go ahead and play the game fairly slow, even if you had to give up an entire site. That is completely okay, because I mean, you usually find yourself a site anyways. Make sure you have the life advantage. That's all it really comes down to. Don't let GVSU lock you in your spawn, because if you might as well put your controller down at that point. That is where the problem really starts to sprout. So I want to see any of you go ahead, play the game steady. Don't get in their own head, because we've already seen that thus far. Those first 2 rounds of Search and Destroy, they didn't have a single kill on the board. They are beating themselves up about that. There is no question about it. I have been in their shoes in the competitive COD scene. It stinks, and you have to bounce back at some stage or another. So, already starting this defending side, NEU looking to push up to the middle of the map, and GVSU going for a little bit of a spread across with a little bit of a default, but more of a just B rush.
It's right now going to be getting hot and heavy. I mean, you said it, coming out looking nice, but it is going to be Northeastern that did shut this one down. So, I mean, the early B push not going to be working out for GVSU. Because now they're going to be switching things up, going with a little bit more of a default play. And they should be having not a lot of contention at this A point. I mean, you can see those arrows right now. They're not exactly hurrying up to get over there. I think they're going to be content with just locking down B for the last 2 minutes. And, I mean, that's a risky play against GVSU. Do you think that's smart, Mick?
Honestly, I think it'd be okay. I think for GVSU, that's definitely a good play for them. You can already see Purge setting up for these spawns, just trying to bring that pressure I was mentioning prior. But I think the play there was to go ahead and get a feel for the map. If they push up the map, they know the biggest threat right now on NEU is Asuna. He sat there. He has been the main slayer for NEU. The only player to really seem like he can match the aggression, match the game, and really go ahead and be in the same ballpark, in the same league as the likes of GVSU. When they go ahead and see that kill cam and say, okay, Asuna's on B side, that is a free A take, honestly, when you know you've wiped out every single other player. And once again, Asuna stepping up onto the kill there, just pushing out right through the map. You finally go ahead and hold out your spawns as E-Chase goes ahead and gets the read and says, they're going to keep on playing for spawns now. They're going to push us up. They know that we have now a life diminishing, and we just can't keep doing this.
Precisely. It is going to be Jay Rich going to be coming down, banking that stun off the wall. Just trying to get up in here, making sure he can clear it out slowly but surely. I mean, we also talked about it with the kills. GVSU, they're currently up. Yes, they're only up by a couple, but those couple, it could matter down the line very soon here. But, I mean, the kill feed, since I stated it, has been going all white. I mean, Northeastern now tying it up in the kills, 15-15. So, I mean, you said it, Mick. They're going to be looking to lock down B the entire time, and now with 45 seconds remaining, it's going to be GVSU that are feeling the pressure.
And honestly, they keep on looking for the middle of the map. They keep on looking for some kind of alternate avenue. But, I mean, we sit there and see it already. NEU setting up for these spawns. They had to adjust to that early. They've already read your tricks. You need to now push the site. You need to go ahead and split up those responsibilities. You need to make sure everybody's carrying their own weight and has their kind of just slot here to fill in. Whether you're going to be a point man or whether you're going to be a kill man. Well, Infamous, he's obviously going to be a kill man, but can he find the shots? There it is. Are able to go ahead and kill one. Joke! Actually throwing out that nade and finding a kill onto his own teammates, that's not going to be very good, but you still have yourself 9 lives to be dishing out. You have to go ahead and really neutralize NEU there, but with it now being 8-10, we've seen it slip on his head.
As right now, Brooks does get taken out by Purge on the site, and I mean, Purge picking up 2 now. The squad, and they do it. 9 seconds remaining. This is going to be it. They've got to lock it down this entire time. 1 tick of progression has come through now. You can see Joke. I mean, they've got the setup. They've just got to keep this one as there's only 5 lives remaining. And now the last 4, This could be a massive hold coming in as here we go. Infamous doesn't understand one's going to be coming from the top. Boom, you're fried. Simple as that. 3 left, 2 left, 1 left, none. That's it. GVSU clutching it up. We said it could come down to the kills. They made it that so on offense, and I mean, poof, what a comeback.
And yeah, that's the problem. We already see an opening here for the likes of GVSU. It's not that the fact that they had that diminished life count for there in a second. It's the fact they brought it back. They had the lead. Whenever they got beat down, they said, look, let's slow it down. Let's start exploring our options. We got overzealous there. We were saying, okay, we have momentum, but sometimes whenever you start running, if you start sprinting a little bit too fast for your legs, you eventually trip over yourself. That's where we saw GVSU say, look, slow down, guys. We can't be doing this. We are rushing for kills. We're trying to BM these guys, and we can't really pick those fights. Right off the get-go, you do see NEU pushing for this A side, now having a triple stack on top of it. Brooks looking to find one, but can't go ahead and shut down the other two. Instead, he's going to go ahead and play the safer route, get that up, and let Purge take over.
Extremely unfortunate for this squad, but I mean, it is going to be GVSU coming in with the 4-man wipe. Going to be clearing this one out as only 1 tick progression has come through so far. So looks like they are going to be fine with standing on this, but it is going to be one player that's going to be sneaking on through. It's going to be Bravo, who's going to be trying to make a play. Can he get this kill? Yes, Bravo actually does. And now it's going to cause them to turn around. They have to turn around because right now, I mean, this point, it could be going in favor of NU, but no, they're just going to be trying to be thorns in the side, and Asuna now going to be getting it in the back lines, and I think they're playing for kills right now is not the right idea because you're already down by 7.
And even then, also pushing for the B side with your teammates. I think, honestly, if anybody's going to push for spawns right now, it should be Asuna. He's the guy that I mentioned earlier. He's the Slayer for NU. He is that one potential player who can actually lock these GVSU guys into the spawn. But instead, Bravo's going to make that move. He's going to go ahead and find the kill on the Brooks. So that's going to be a pretty good bit of momentum there to be working with as you're also accumulating a lot of time on this B side thus far. You have a double cap on there. You have a double stack there. You are getting so much to be working with. Problem is, you haven't captured A side. You have done nothing across the map. You have sat there and grabbed 3 ticks collectively, but you need to get all of that onto one side to get yourself a minute more to be working with. And Asuna does find a lot of kills there. Can make sure a little bit more work and a little bit more space as you go ahead and push onto the A side. But Infamous now set up. Can't find those kills. Now a little bit more of a spread of the map, and you actually go ahead and bring some life into this round.
Yeah, precisely. Got a little bit scary there at the end, as you stated. I mean, the clock starting to dwindle so quickly, but now with an extra 90 seconds to work with. I mean, right here, they've only got to get 1 more tick of progression at this B point. And I mean, honestly, this squad, they've shown that they've been able to burst through the lines and be able to do it. They've brought back the kills to only being down by 2 now. So GVSU trying to keep this advantage. They just need to wipe this squad 3 more times. It's only 10 lives remain, make it 9. That's 2 full team wipes, and then this squad is good to go.
Most definitely is. I mean, already you get that 1 extra respawn, but I mean, it all comes down to which player is going to go ahead and give that up. And I think that's going to be the real idea, which J Rich and Bravo both fought at the same time. So you really can't point your fault at one place or another. Thing is, you just have to go ahead and put it behind you. You have to push for this B side. You only got 1 tick of progress left. You know Austin is back there towards the spawn, trying to go for a little bit of a flank towards that area. But Purge having 2 streaks in hand right now, honestly, they're just waiting. They're sitting there and seeing if things get really that desperate. But honestly, NU's the one who's desperate. With only 5 lives remaining, still counting down at that, with 28 seconds left on the clock, this has to be a miracle run for them if they want to go ahead and manage a round.
Yeah, just an incredible defensive round right here coming out for GVSU as there's only going to be 2 lives remaining. And I mean, good gravy. Yeah, if you're frying like that, I mean, Brooks 18-2 right now, or 18-12, excuse me. 18-2 would be absolutely absurd, but 18-12 either way, still extremely good for this GVSU squad. And I mean, right here, right now, they find themselves up 2-0. I don't really have words for this one. I mean, GVSU right now, they are putting it to them.
Yeah, and honestly, I can't really say it's too much of like a strat diff or something. They are just looking like the better shooters right now, just from a fundamental level. They're going ahead, executing onto sites. There are times when they get a little bit overzealous because you can tell their strats aren't really there. They're not really spacing themselves across the map. They're not utilizing every single nook and cranny here on Tuscan to really get themselves the lead. Instead, they're just running it with brute force, saying that we now have momentum. We have ran away with this game thus far. Let's use that to our advantage. We are now using our snowball effect. We are an unstoppable boulder thus far. And sure, we can go ahead and run into some speed bumps and go ahead and lose a little bit of snow along the way.
Oh my goodness.
So long as we still hit hard, just like you have in the very beginning of this round, now sitting at a 1-1 for an even exchange there, you know you can take this A site and run away with that.
From the time you start talking to the time you stop talking, That A site is gone. And
Yep.
now they've all got to work on B with 2 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. That is how quickly this GVSU squad is working. And now, I mean, we've seen it before. They're able to just press the issue, get into the spawns, get these kills, get these trades. They've also got streaks on their side as well. I did see some streaks in the back pocket. So, I mean, anytime you got those at your disposal as well, I mean, it's going to be hard for NU to win this round, even though they're on the defensive side.
Even then, with how quick it was, one thing I do want to mention is I also talk a long time, so I don't know if it's that impressive, but, you know, we said still, I go ahead, I'll sit there and digress. We got to sit there and talk about the game that's still going on as we see, once again, GVSU still doing exactly what they've done thus far, carrying through with the game, bringing that brute force over to the B side, but from so many different angles. You see Purge try to go ahead and win these gunfights, but as it gets done, just can't really bring anything to fruition, but the rest of the team is there for backup, as you see Joe now running a completely different weapon, running the Volk, saying, you know what, let's go ahead and have some experimentation right now. This is Dexter's laboratory, and we're making you DD. You are our test subject, and you're going to go ahead and follow as well. Now sitting at 23-16. With no ticks of progress on B side, I'll admit, you still have a minute and a half, so you're not really worried for that.
Yeah, precisely. And I mean, right now it's just a solid hold coming out. I mean, they're doing their job, but the thing is they're down in live. So as long as GVSU keep on forcing the issue, keep on getting these trades, they're going to be winning this game very, very easily. They've just got to stick together, play as a squad, get kills like that. Because, I mean, Joke, using the Volks like, shout out to that Volkswagen, man. Anyway, let's go ahead and see what Joke's going to do as he picks up 2 before getting taken out. And, I mean, still a minute remaining. No ticks of regression come through on B after this A looks so strong. But Purge still not going to be using those streaks in his back pocket. I don't know why at this point. Infamous might as well call him in. Try to get these kills because, I mean, right now, it's only 10 lives remaining on the side of NU.
And honestly, we're just seeing GVSU play for lives here. Are they going for one last hoorah once they find themselves diminishing NU down to that last second? That's not the move they need to go for. They need to start pressuring that site right now. They can't be toying around with their prey. This is not a time to really let them live and just go ahead and ease down on the clinch that is the bite on their neck thus far. So now with 28 seconds left on the clock, they are making that approach on the site. You got Infamous on the flank, already finding one. Can't exactly manage the second, but that's okay. Purge will go ahead and pick up the slack. He'll push up for you. He'll find the kills, now diminishing down the life count to 5. Nobody has any respawns. They've been stacking the site this entire time, and you need an answer immediately or they're going home.
Yeah, and I got to be honest, I mean, looking at the lives, only 2 left. They're going home. Simple as that. I mean, it was a great series, but overall, GVSU, Grand Valley State University, shooting bodies to end things off. They're going to be finishing things off with a 3-0 control. I mean, they're 5-1 on control in the season. Make it 6-1. They've been dominant so far and showing exactly why right here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I sat there and mentioned it. We sat there and had our calls. I said 3-1. That was if only we sat there and saw somewhat of an even matchup because I expected GVSU to go ahead and if things get rough, they can go ahead and adapt around to it. But they never had to break out those brain cells. Honestly, they just with brute force, sometimes strength can overwhelm you. And we see that. We see that result right here. Even then, there's a little bit of rocky times here and there, but they said, look, now we need to start thinking. We got to start using our heads because we can make this a flawless run. We can get ourselves a 3-0 and get 2 attacking rounds to close out this series. And when you look at the kill feed, just across the board, Purge with 34 and 15, 27 untraded kills. Something like that cannot be ignored. This guy has been awake all night. Yeah,
I mean, dropping 13 more kills than the rest of his team. I mean, he dropped 28 more kills than each chase. I mean, listen, I mean, honestly, right here, right now, this player in Purge just absolutely went off. I mean, a lot of people in the chat were sitting there supporting him. They were saying Purge is going to go off, and I mean, Purge did just that. I mean, when you talked about it, and I mean, he showed and proved it right here. 3,600 damage as well, like 900 more than anyone else in the lobby. Just an absolute unit by his lonesome. I mean, this GVSU squad is absolutely looking like the real deal for sure. And I think that everyone in this group right now, in this tier, are going to start to look at this squad and say, you know what, we cannot look past them. Okay, they're a squad that we need to recognize because they are looking official right here, right now.
Yeah, they're very, very capable of upsets. I mean, that's kind of my biggest thing for them. They've been a lot of a sleeper team, but it's always teams like this where you get to the split, where you have to watch these games, so where people are sitting there just looking at records saying, oh, well, these guys are all middle ground. They're 6-5, 5-5. Let's just go ahead. We can toss them a sign up for, you know, a 6-0 team or anything higher than that. If we only have ourselves about 3 losses, we're naturally better than them. You can't think about that. This is split 2 now. Everything is evening out. Every single team that is within this split and within their kind of regions are there for a reason. We orchestrate the league like this to make matches good every single week. And that is the result we get. We sit there and go ahead and diminish the better from the worst. And that just tonight, we show that GVSU is better. They had themselves a very, very rough division, I'll admit. So now, when they go ahead and get to try their trials against other people and sit there and see really how they stack up against the rest of the league, now that they can kind of get out of their pool a little bit and experiment with the rest of what the league has to offer, they are looking outstanding. That's all I have to say. And finally, going ahead and saying all those 5 losses we got, that doesn't matter. Let's think about that first number. How many times we've won? What have we done right? How can we keep on doing that? And how can we adapt around that to just keep it consistent?
Yeah, big time. I mean, if we go ahead and look at the series as a whole, I mean, looking at these maps, look at the domination. It is pure and utter domination, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, total of 95 points in the series going to NU. Hard point control and search and destroy combined. I mean, that's going to be rough, pretty sure. I mean, they 100-point clubbed them in the entire series, Mick. I mean, 3-0. This one was all GVSU, to say the least, but that doesn't mean the Northeastern can't sit here and learn from this, come back better in their next matchup. That's definitely what they're going to be looking to do.
It most definitely will be, and especially with a statement like this tonight. I mean, this is going to be something that a lot of teams are going to be on the lookout for. Sure, they're probably not going to care all that much, but I got to say that GVSU, if you're listening right now, go ahead and hit the sticks this week, because next week and the week after that and the week after that, you have the potential to run away and possibly get yourself into the, the last chance qualifier, get yourself in that playoff bracket. Sure, people are going to sleep on y'all, but use that to your advantage, because as I mentioned earlier at the very beginning of the series, this is a smart batch of players, and I want to see them wake up, because if this is just a taste of what we get in Split 2, imagine if they go ahead, work on things a little bit more, and look that much more outstanding as the season goes on.
Oh, for sure. I mean, looking at this squad overall, I mean, they just gave us a great show overall. Grand Valley State, you are the real deal. You are here in this group for a reason. I mean, right here, honestly, this was a great night of Bravo. We got to see a lot of teams come out and show their stuff, show that they're going to be the powerhouses that we honestly weren't really expecting. I mean, they were honestly able to separate themselves from the pack tonight. A lot of squads, and I mean, that's what you love to see is, teams coming out and showing that they can be dominant.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously here in Split 2, separating yourself across from the pack is going to be the name of the game right now. Sit there, make a statement for yourself, say, this is where you have to step up. This is where that gap gets that much larger, and you want to sit there and be on the top. Otherwise, you're out of the picture. You're out of my frame. You're out of CCL's frame. You are not a factor anymore in anybody's picture. You're going to be coming back next season. So, with that being said, we also got to sit there, and we're going to be coming back next week, or at least going over to another stream here for the time being, because this is going to be the end here on the Bravo stream. That's been the conclusion of our series so far. So thank you, Rome. Thank you, Benji, over there in the background doing production here for the entire night. And Elzini for doing also the observing as well. So with all that being said and done, thank you all. I wish you a good night, happy living, happy health, and have yourself a happy rest of the week.